Hi and welcome. My name is Johnny again. I'm from All Total Coaching. What I want to talk to you today is why Australia is one of the most depressed countries in the world. Before you criticize, please hear me out and I'll explain the statement and what I just said a few seconds ago. Before we start, please press the icon button so you can get notified when you do videos, and please subscribe to our channel for great stuff coming your way. As you're watching this video, I'm somewhere in Asia on the way to Europe, but obviously I pre-recorded this video. So before we start, I'd like to talk about our book, How to Be a Man, What Your Father Never Taught You, that will change your life drastically. But what is this book, our book, How to Be a Man, What Your Father Never Taught You is? It's a guide for men in today's feminized society. This book will guide you on the following topics: manhood, what is a man and how to be a man, women, relationships and sex, media manipulation, indoctrination by the movies, health, food and exercise and why it's so important, money, wealth, what you need to know and why, what you're not taught at school, value, what it is and why it's so important, how to overcome the biggest phenomena in our generation of depression and fear, where 8 people commit suicide in Australia a day. As you just heard, happiness and fulfillment, feminism, the real truth, family court and the consequences, false accusations, domestic violence, how to be social and create a great network, social etiquette, keep up, how to maintain a relationship, in summary, or the rules that will save your life, and sources and resources. So today, I would like to share with you why I think Australia is one of the most depressed countries in the world. Australia is a rich country. There's great things in Australia. Australia has given me great opportunities, but at the same time, this is an antisocial country. There's an anti-social manipulation in the media going of dividing men and women. Instead of bringing to harmony where men and women need each other, they're creating a massive divide between men and women, and this causes depression. And when you suppress the needs of a man, of a need to a woman, and a woman need to a man, you create more antisocial behavior. Drugs and alcohol in Australia are out of control. Out of control. Every weekend in Sydney, in Melbourne, and every major city in Australia, drugs taking and alcohol abuse is gone for the roof, because there's so much suppression of the emotions of especially men in Australia. And that brings me to the anti-male campaign in Australia, where every week you hear about criminals men, how men are totally criminals, and this is what happens when you discriminate against men and you suppress the feelings. You create more and more anxiety and more and more depression. Where every man today, including me, is a potential rapist. Breakdown in relationships. No relationships these days has a capacity to have a long longevity. None. Breakdown in relationships is rampant. And so many people over the age of 30 that I know, and I know hundreds of them, are never been married. And the ones that were married are divorced. You can't have a conversation. If you hold too much eye contact, you're too intimidating. If you don't hold eye contact, you're not paying attention. If you're looking at the phone, you shouldn't look at the phone. If you're paying too much attention, you're overbearing. No matter what you're going to do, there's always going to be excuses or reasons why he or she should never see you again. People can't have a simple conversation. They can't. They can't have a simple conversation on little things, because he or she is trying to impress her. They're always thinking, is this the right thing to say? This is the wrong thing to say. No. And the next thing you know, they're going into areas and they're talking about exes or whatever, or mundane things that do not create a connection and a bond with people. And I speak about this in my book. People don't have friends. They don't talk to anybody anymore. Once upon a time in Australia, you could go on the bus and talk to the person sitting next to you. Today, if you sit next to somebody in the bus and you make a conversation, everybody around you will think you're a freak. Or you think try to hitting on that woman, or the woman's hitting on you when really you're just trying to be friendly. And God forbid you should be friendly. Because if you are, you must be on drugs. And if you talk to somebody in a shopping center, you must be bored. And that's where most people push their eyes and look at everyone like, look at this freak. And if you actually talk to a man and a woman because you like their dress or their jacket, whatever, oh my God, people look at you like a freak. And this is what causes more and more divide and more depression within our society. Today, more than ever before, men and women are isolated socially. And majority of people today sleep alone. They don't have a connection, a physical, a mental, emotional connection. And all their mental and social connection is via Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, etc., where we know this is totally fake. And this is what creates more and more depression and more suicide in our society. And today, in Australia, if anybody follows me on this channel, 8 people a day commit suicide a day. And I've had many people say they prove to me. And all I do is copy and paste the link of the Australian Bureau of Statistics /suicide. And the reason suicide and depression is on the increase, another reason, is because the agencies that deal with these issues, that don't have adequate staff, not adequate people that are trained, and even if you ring, you'll be waiting on the line, but then you could have committed suicide 60 times. And the real truth, I'm about to tell you, they don't want the suicide to decrease. They want it to increase. And the reason is because if it decreases, they won't be able to ask more funding from the federal Australian government. No one cares anymore. Nobody cares anymore. All people care is about how many friends they've got on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, and all they care is about their image. And when they have a real crisis, like all of us at one stage or another will have a crisis, including me, they have nobody to turn to. Because nobody talks on the phone. It's all SMS. The amount of times I rang a person and they said, oh, I can't talk. I only do SMS. Those people already cut them off. Because to create a real connection to people, you have to talk to them. But at the same time, you don't want to overburden them. When a person doesn't want to ever talk to you because he or she is so busy, those people slowly but surely will get isolated. And a lot of people live in the reality, like I said, of Facebook and Instagram. They don't have a real connection. And when you don't have a real connection to other people, that's what's going to increase the depression and the suicide. Real connections are done by talking, holding eye contact, spending time with one each other, rather than only talking when you're on the way to work in the car or on the way back, and you know precisely what I'm talking about. There's a fellow, I can't mention his name, he rings me usually between 5:30 and 6 when he's on the way to work, and he usually cuts the conversation. Okay, I have to go now. We're not hearing him reversing to his driveway. And in most cases, I don't give him even a chance to say anything, because then he has to go. And this is the conversations we have today. And because of the way we're living in the West, where everything is pressed for time, and nobody's got time, nobody's got to pay attention, and the attention span of people is so small, slowly but surely, over time, depression is on the rise. And they want it this way. They want depression to go on the rise. Because more depression, more suicide, more people are going to use the pharmaceutical companies and use more drugs. And those people that create all this illusion and create all this shit will make more and more money on your back and my money and back. So this is why I think Australia is one of the most depressed countries in the world. What even more amazes me is how many people I know that are depressed. And I have programs in my book, How to Overcome Depression and Fear. And I know they're depressed. They don't even ask for help. They don't even spend $10 to help themselves. Because they think that if they meet the right woman or man or whatever, everything is going to miraculously turn happily ever after, and they're going to live the fantasy that we've all been fed since we were a kid of Hollywood and happily ever after, when it's all 99% is BS. So these are the reasons I believe that Australia is one of the most depressed countries in the world, although Australia has got so much to give. Yet today we live in an anti-social climax. And I don't care who you are or how much money you have. People need people. I'm more than lucky because I've got great people around me. I will always support these friends of mine for what they've done for me in the past, present and the future. And I will crawl on glass for these people that help me, and they know precisely who I'm talking about. But a lot of people don't have these friends. A lot of people are isolated. They don't have anybody to talk to even about simple issues they have. And they suppress those feelings, suppress them and suppress them till one day they explode. And when they explode, we all know what happens. They usually end up at Watson's Bay or one of the other places where they commit suicide. This is a very sad matter. But I know 4 people, like as you were, that committed suicide. And this is why I believe Australia is one of the most depressed countries in the world. Not the worst, but one of them. So what can we do? Be friendly with people. Start listening to your fellow man or woman, no matter what their story is. I'm not saying you have to pay them attention for 4 hours, but pay attention for 10, 15 minutes. Because at the end of the day, we sooner or later are going to be in a crisis. And if you ever going for depression, please click on the previous videos that I've done, how to overcome depression and fear, at the link below, and I will send you some stuff that will help you. But at the end of the day, like I've said many, many times before, you have to help yourself. If you can't, nobody will know what you're going through. Thank you very much for listening. If you want to talk to me, John at sosdating.com, www.alltotalcoaching.com. I can change your life. The question is, do you want to? Or are you going to keep doing the same thing again and again and again, expecting different results? Or Superman or Superwoman to help you? Please, it's your life. I'm here to help you, but you need to help yourself. Thank you very much. As always, I'm your friend, John.